I never thought I'd wake up in my sister's body, staring at her reflection in the mirror of her Park Avenue high-rise bathroom, her perfect Botox-smooth skin stretched over my vengeful soul. But here I was, ready to burn it all down. It started with that godforsaken Christmas Eve dinner, where Victoria, my golden child sister, didn't just humiliate me in front of our entire fractured family and her smug CEO boyfriend. She confessed to the world that I'd been the one who'd tanked her career years ago. A lie so vicious it made the turkey taste like ash. And in the ultimate twist of fate, or whatever dark magic swapped our bodies that night, I watched from inside her skin as her own lover. Harlan Crow, the ruthless tech mogul, typed out her termination email right there at the table, his fingers dancing like spiders on the crystal stem of his wine glass. You see, Victoria and I weren't just sisters. We were oil and holy water, forged in the same Connecticut suburb, but worlds apart in every way that mattered. I was Elizabeth, the screw-up artist who dropped out of Yale to chase street murals in Brooklyn, scraping by on freelance gigs that paid in exposure and ramen. She was Victoria Hale, the Harvard shark who climbed Wall Street like it was her personal stairmaster, landing at Apex Innovations as Harlan's right-hand hatchet woman. Our parents, Dad the retired hedge fund guy nursing a third martini, Mom the socialite with a pill habit hidden behind pearl necklaces, always pitted us against each other. But Christmas was supposed to be the truce. Neutral ground in Mom's over-decorated Upper East Side brownstone, where the tree glittered with heirloom ornaments and the air smelled of pine and passive aggression. That night, the table was set like a battlefield, fine china clinking under crystal chandeliers. The extended family crammed in, uncles droning about stocks, aunts gossiping about divorces. Harlan sat at the head like he owned the place, which he practically did with his billions from Apex, the AI firm that spied on half of America's data streams. Victoria preened beside him, her blonde bob impeccable, her little black dress hugging curves I'd kill for, or did, in a metaphorical sense. Me? I was in my thrift store velvet number, feeling like the poor relation, which I was. The hook came fast, like a sucker punch. We'd just passed the mashed potatoes when Victoria raised her glass, her smile sharp as a stiletto. To family, she toasted, but her eyes locked on mine. And to finally coming clean about that little accident from college. Right, Liz? The one where you borrowed my laptop and accidentally forwarded those emails to the dean? God, I covered for you for years. Let everyone think it was a glitch. But hey, blood's thicker than water or jail time. The room went dead silent. Forks hovered. Dad choked on his scotch. Mom's hand flew to her throat like she'd seen a ghost. But it was the secret she dropped that gutted me. Those emails weren't mine. I'd taken the fall for her, back in our Yale days, when she was the one who'd plagiarized her thesis from a rival's work, desperate to keep her perfect GPA intact. I'd found the files, panicked, and deleted them, but not before she framed me as the hacker, whispering to the dean that I was unstable. I got expelled. She graduated summa cum laude. And for what? Her silence bought with my future. A debt she'd never repaid, just buried under years of fake sisterly love. I opened my mouth to scream the truth, but the words stuck like thorns. Victoria. You bitch, that was you. You set me up. But she laughed. This tinkling, villainous sound that echoed off the walls. Oh, Liz. Still playing the victim? Harlan. Honey, you should see her emails. She's been begging for jobs at Apex for months. Pathetic. Harlan didn't even look up from his phone, his jaw set like granite. He was the kind of man who made empires crumble with a swipe. Tall, silver fox handsome in his tailored Tom Ford, but with eyes like black holes, sucking in secrets and spitting out ruins. I'd met him once before, at a gala where Victoria paraded him like a trophy. He shook my hand, called me the creative one, but there was no warmth, just calculation.
Now,
As the family murmured, he scrolled, his thumb pausing on an email draft. Interesting, he muttered, voice like velvet over razor wire. Victoria, darling, did you authorize that offshore account transfer last quarter? The one flagged for embezzlement. Her face drained of color, but she recovered with a coquettish flip of her hair.
what?
Harlan, that's absurd. Must be a mix-up. But I knew better. I'd overheard her on the phone months ago, siphoning funds from Apex to fund her coke habit and that Hamptons getaway she won in a raffle. She'd begged me to keep quiet, for the family. Liz, and like the idiot I was, I did. Another crime on my tab, another secret chiseled into my bones. The tension coiled like a spring. Uncles shifted uncomfortably. Aunts whispered about poor Victoria. Dad cleared his throat. Girls, let's not ruin the holidays. But Harlan's finger hovered, then tapped send.
Not tome, to hire.
Termination effective immediately, he said coolly, sliding his phone across the table like a guillotine blade. You know the clauses.
Vic.
Embezzlement's a hard line. Merry Christmas, she shattered. Not with tears, but rage, a banshee wail that sprayed champagne across the linens. You bastard. After everything, I made you billions. She lunged at him, nails out, but he caught her wrist, his grip iron. The family froze, a tableau of horror. Mom fainted into her chair. Dad fumbled for his nitro pills. And me? I sat there, heart pounding, a twisted glee bubbling up because for once, karma had my back. Or so I thought. That's when the world tilted. A migraine hit like a freight train, maybe the spiked eggnog, maybe the stress fracturing something cosmic. Victoria slumped, eyes rolling back, and as the room spun into black, I felt it a rip, a swap, like souls trading places in a funhouse mirror. When I came to, gasping on the Persian rug, it wasn't my body sprawled beside me. It was hers. Lithe, perfumed, powerful. And across from me, in my dumpy frame, Victoria blinked, confused, my hands patting her nude cheeks. Panic erupted. What the fuck, she shrieked in my voice. Coarse and Brooklyn bred. The family thought it was hysteria. Called 911. Paramedics swarmed, but by the time they loaded us into the ambulance, me and her body, her and mine, the swap held. Doctors chalked it up to shock. Some shared delusion from bad catering. But I knew. It was the universe's cruel joke, handing me the keys to her kingdom for one purpose, revenge. In the ER, under fluorescent buzz, I watched her thrash in my skin, demanding Harlan fix it. He stood by, arms crossed, already distancing himself. Vic.
Calm down.
Liz. You okay? His eyes flicked between us, suspicion dawning. But I played it cool, slipping into her poise like a second skin.
I'm fine.
Just a dizzy spell. My voice, her voice, purred like silk. Discharged by midnight, we piled into Ubers, family scattering like roaches. Me to her penthouse, her to my ratty Bushwick walk-up. Alone in her marble lair, overlooking the twinkling spires of Manhattan, I stripped naked before the full-length mirror. Her body was a weapon, toned from SoulCycle, scarred faintly from that ski accident in Aspen I'd envied. But it was mine now. And with it came access, her phone, buzzing with panicked texts from colleagues, her laptop, unlocked to Apex's servers, her secrets, laid bare like a confessional. The first decision was controversial. Even in my head, do I swap back? Call some exorcist? Beg the stars for mercy?
No.
This was payback for every slight, every stolen opportunity. I'd suffered her sins, the plagiarism rap that derailed my art career, the embezzlement cover-up that kept me silent while she rose. And Harlan? He wasn't innocent. I'd seen the bruises on her arms, the late-night calls where she whispered about signing that NDA. He was the puppet master, pulling strings on all of us. Day one in her skin, I called in sick to Apex, citing family emergency. Then, I dove into her files. The offshore accounts? A slush fund for Harlan's mistresses, funneled through her as the fall guy. The plagiarism? Not just once. She'd ghostwritten half his board presentations, passing them off as his genius. Betrayal layered on betrayal. And the deepest cut, our childhood. Dad's will, hidden in her safe. He'd cut me out entirely, leaving everything to her, but only after she forged my signature on some waiver, absolving him of emotional neglect. I'd taken the blame for his affairs too. Once, lying to Mom about seeing him with the secretary. Secrets upon secrets, all mine to unravel. By evening, Victoria pounded on her door, wild-eyed in my baggy jeans. Give it back, whatever you did. Undo it. She looked ridiculous. My tattoos peeking from under the sleeves, my chipped nail polish clashing with her panic. I let her in, poured a scotch from her crystal decanter. Sit.
Sis.
Let's talk. She paced, ranting. This is insane. Harlan thinks I'm cracking up. He froze my assets. Our assets. Good, I said, sipping. Controversial? Hell yes. Savoring her downfall felt like swallowing fire. Righteous but wrong. You deserve it.
For Yale. For the money.
For making me the family joke. Her eyes narrowed, my own face twisting into something feral. You think you can play me? In my body? Harlan will eat you alive. He's got dirt on everyone. That's when the plan crystallized. Not just expose her, expose them all. I'd go to Apex as her, seduce the truth from Harlan, then torch the empire from within. Risky, suicidal. But the swap had unlocked something primal. A darkness I'd buried under paintbrushes and politeness. Night 2, back at the penthouse. I dressed in her power armor, Chanel suit, Louboutins that pinched like pennants. Harlan texted, "Dinner? My club. We need to talk." I replied in her flirt, "Can't wait. Handsome." XO. The club was old money incarnate, mahogany panels, cigar smoke, senators in the shadows. Harlan waited in a booth, scotch neat, his tie loosened like an invitation. Up close, he was magnetic 50s, salt and pepper, with laugh lines that hid knives. "Vic," he drawled, kissing her cheek. "Rough night. But you're glowing." "New serum." I laughed, low and throaty, channeling every rom-com I'd binged. "Just family drama." Liz went off the rails, classic. We ordered fillets.
Rare.
He probed gently, The emails. You know I had to act. Board pressure. Of course, I purred, foot brushing his under the table. Controversial move, flirting with the devil to damn him. But his ego swelled, words loosening with the wine. He confessed fragments. The slush fund was for discreet investments, code for bribes to DC lobbyists. Victoria knew, participated. You're my rock.
Vic.
Without you. The hook sank deep. By dessert. He'd spilled the body swap. He suspected nothing. But he'd hired a PI on Liz years ago. After Yale. Found my instability, therapy notes from the fallout. Twisted to paint me as a threat. And the kicker. Victoria had leaked them to him.
To keep me sidelined.
She said you'd sabotage her if you got close to apex. Rage boiled. But I played coy. Back at his townhouse, hers too. Technically, I let him lead me to the bedroom. Not for sex, that line I wouldn't cross. But whispers in the dark, more dirt. Apex's AI wasn't just data mining, it was blackmail software. Harvesting user secrets for corporate espionage. Harlan's crown jewel. And Victoria's invention, patented under his name. Morning came with coffee and a proposition. Come back to work tomorrow. We'll fix the termination quietly. But Liz. Keep her away. She's trouble. Absolutely, I lied, slipping out with a kiss. In the cab home, I forwarded everything to a burner email. Evidence dumps. Timestamps. Not to the press, too messy. To the feds. Anonymous tip. Controversial? Leaking classified tech could spark wars. Jobs lost. Lives upended. But they'd stolen mine. Meanwhile, Victoria stewed in my apartment, fielding my dead-end calls from concerned friends. She texted, "Stop this. Meet me." We switched back. But I ghosted, letting her rot in my mediocrity. Week's end, Apex board meeting. I strode in as Victoria, portfolio in hand, Harlan beaming. Power thrumming in my veins, her veins. Presentations flew. I nodded. The perfect lieutenant. Then, mid-slide on quarterly fraud alerts. My phone buzzed. Fake alert. Scripted. FBI raid imminent. Embezzlement probe. Chaos erupted. Harlan's face ashen, board members bolting for doors. Sirens wailed outside. Real ones. My tip paying off. I slipped into the fray. Victoria clutching her necklace like a lifeline. Harlan grabbed my arm. What did you do? In the elevator. Alone. I dropped the mask. Not me.
Harlan.
Her. The real her. His eyes widened, gears turning. Liz? How? But the doors opened to cuffs and badges. As they dragged him away, he spat. You'll pay for this. Whoever you are. I vanished into the crowd, heart hammering. Revenge tasted like victory, sharp and metallic. But the swap lingered. Days blurred into a manhunt, feds raiding Apex. Headlines screaming tech titans fall. Victoria, trapped in my body, surfaced on the news. Distraught sister seeks help, begging for deprogramming, claiming possession. Laughable. But the public ate it up. Memes flying about hail sister's curse. I holed up in the penthouse, liquidating her assets into crypto, enough to vanish. But guilt gnawed. Was this justice or madness? Controversial decisions piled. I'd slept in her bed, worn her skin like a trophy. But at what cost? My art career, dead. Her empire,
Dust.
and Harlan? Rumor had it he'd cut a deal. Naming names, including hers. The climax hit on New Year's Eve. Times Square throbbing below, like a migraine. Victoria cornered me at a safe house in Queens. My old studio she'd trashed in fury. She burst in, wild-haired. My paint-splattered overalls hanging off her. End this. I know it's you, the way you walk. That smug tilt. Swap back. We circled each other. Two souls in stolen shells. Why? I demanded, her voice cracking for the first time. You took everything.
Yale.
Dad's love. My silence on your dirt. Tears, my tears, streaked her face. I was scared. Dad favored you. The free spirit. I had to win. But Liz. Harlan. He wasn't just my boss. He forced me. The NDAs. The accounts. It was control. Twist dawning. Not betrayal alone, but abuse. She'd framed me at Yale to escape his early grooming. He'd been a donor. Spotted her at 18. The embezzlement? His orders. Threats if she refused. I'd suffered for her. Yes. But she for me too, shielding me from his radar. Warning me off Apex jobs. You could have told me, I whispered. And ruin us both? He owns judges.
Liz. Cops.
The room spun. The swap's magic fraying at the edges, a hum in my bones. Her essence pushing back. We clasped hands. Desperate ritual. Switch, we chanted. Tears mingling. Lightning cracked outside. And rip, world righted. I gasped in my body. Scrawny and scarred, she and hers. Collapsing with relief. But the final twist, as sirens closed in, Harlan's PI had traced us. The door burst open. Not feds. Him. Harlan. Free on bail. Gun in hand. Eyes manic. Ladies. Plot twist. The swap? My doing. Experimental neural link from Apex Labs. Tested on you too. Blood ties make perfect subjects. To break you. Make you doubt reality. Victoria. You were mine.
Liz.
Collateral. He raised the gun.
Smirking.
Controversial end. I lunged. Not me, her. Victoria tackled him. Wrestling for the weapon. Shot rang out. She slumped. Blood blooming on her dress, no gore. Just shadow and finality. Harlan laughed. Once. Before sirens took him for good. In the hospital, as she flatlined, she gripped my hand. Live.
Liz.
For both. Epilogue. I inherited the penthouse. Sold Apex's patents for billions. Donated half to victims' funds. Happy? Tragic? You decide. Sisters to the end. Damned by love and lies. The city lights flickered on. Indifferent. The aftermath hit like a hangover from hell. The kind where you wake up in a stranger's bed wondering if the night before was a fever dream or a felony. It was January 2nd. Gray slush piling up on Fifth Avenue. And I was Elizabeth Hale, again, truly. Achingly me, pacing Mom's brownstone in socks that didn't match. The weight of Victoria's ghost heavy as the antique clock ticking judgment in the hall. The cops had hauled Harlan away in cuffs stained with her blood. His empire fracturing like cheap glass under federal hammers. But victory? It tasted like regret. Bitter and churning in my gut. I'd gotten revenge. Sure. Watched her betrayer fall from her skin, but at the cost of the only person who'd ever truly known my fractures, even if she'd welded them shut with lies. Mom was a wreck, popping Xanax like candy corn, her silk robe askew as she chain-smoked by the window. Your sister. She was always the strong one, she murmured, voice frayed as old lace. Dad had decamped to Florida with his golf buddies, muttering about drama queens, but I saw the guilt in his emails, sparse apologies for the will. The favoritism. The way he'd pitted us like fighting cocks for his amusement. The family splintered further. Aunts unfriending me on Facebook. Uncles sending casserole sympathies laced with what really happened, whispers. And the media? A circus. Hale sisters' deadly swap scandal blared from every tabloid, speculating on cults, affairs, even alien abductions. I stonewalled them. But inside, the swap's echoes lingered, a phantom itch where her poise had been. Dreams where I flexed in her mirror, powerful and hollow. Harlan's confession in that Queen studio replayed like a bad loop. The Neuralink, Apex's black-budget toy, zapping brainwaves via some wristband prototype Victoria had worn for stress relief. He'd orchestrated it during the Christmas dinner chaos. A remote trigger to destabilize her. Make her pliable for his escape plan.
Me?
Bonus, he'd sneered. The loose end. But she'd saved me. Taken the bullet meant for both. Hero or fool, the line blurred, leaving me adrift in a sea of what-ifs. First order, bury her. The funeral was a farce, St. Bartholomew's packed with Wall Street vultures in black Armani, eyes darting for stock tips amid the eulogies. I stood at the podium in a borrowed black sheath, her earrings pinching my lobes, voice steady as I lied through tears. Victoria was light, fierce, unyielding. She taught me to fight dirty, because clean never wins. Off mic. To the priest. Cremate her. No grave, he'd find it. Harlan's lawyers circled like sharks. Bail hearing pending. But I had leverage, the body cam footage from the raid. Her blood on his shirt. Controversial? I'd anonymously fed it to a podcaster. Tech tyrant's bloody Valentine, sparking boycotts that tanked Apex stock 40%. Jobs lost. Sure, thousands, but so was my sister's life. Eye for an eye, or avalanche for a pebble. Post-service, the reading of the will, Dad's, finally unsealed. In her safe, alongside stock certificates and that forged waiver, a codicil, split assets 50/50ths. To my daughters, equal in my failures. 10 million each. Give or take. I donated her half to women's shelters. Kept mine for a gallery in Brooklyn. Hale Sisters Atelier, murals of swapped shadows. Controversial installations questioning identity, consent,
Power.
Critics called it trauma porn. Crowds lined up anyway. Success tasted hollow.
Though.
Like champagne gone flat. Nights were the worst. In my walk-up, paint fumes my only company. I jolt awake, convinced I felt her, a twitch in my fingers. Her manicure ghosting mine. Therapy? A joke. The shrink droned about dissociative episodes, prescribed pills I flushed. Instead, I dug deeper into Apex's rot. Freelance hacking with a contact from my graffiti days, ex-NSA whistleblower named Jax. All tattoos and trust issues. Harlan's not done, Jax warned over burner phones. His Brooklyn accent thick as fog. Guys got offshore steeper than the Marianas. He was right. By February, leaks surfaced, Harlan, out on house arrest in his Hamptons manse, funneling cash to private eyes, digging for dirt on me, One tailed me to a coffee shop, snapping pics as I sketched my face in the tabloids now. The survivor sister. Controversial decision. I baited them. Posted on Insta, her old account. I'd claimed it. A cryptic mural of a CEO in chains. Captioned, "Justice wears red." Views exploded. Death threats rolled in. Mom begged me to leave town. I laughed. Run? That's her game. Spring thawed the city. Cherry blossoms mocking the chill in my chest. Harlan's trial loomed. Embezzlement. Manslaughter. Conspiracy, but his defense painted him the victim, gaslit by an unstable executive and her delusional sibling. Victoria the villain. Me the hysteric. Jurors ate it up. Whispers of crazy hails. I testified. Voice cracking. He swapped us like chess pieces. Made her think she was breaking to protect me. But the neural link? Circumstantial, his lawyer sneered. Evidence vanished. Servers wiped. Witnesses bought. Mid-trial. Twist 2. Jax uncovered a file. Victoria's hidden drive. Stashed in a cloud vault keyed to my birthday. Not just Apex dirt, our origin. Dad wasn't our bio dad. Mom's affair with his partner. A cover-up birthed in boardrooms. Victoria knew. Had since 18, Harlan's hook. This secret he dangled to control her. She'd buried it to spare me. Or maybe to hoard the leverage. Betrayal reversed. She'd protected me. At the cost of her soul. Rage reignited. I crashed the courthouse. Confronting Harlan in the hall during recess. Security lax his doing. He lounged against marble, smirking in his seersucker. Lizzie. Come to gloat? Your sister's blood washes off easy. You killed her, I hissed, inches from his cologne cloud. But not before she gutted you. His laugh was oil slick. Guts? She begged for it. Promotions. Power. The swap was mercy. Showed her the truth. You're weak. Always were. I slapped him, cameras flashing, gasps rippling. Controversial? Assault on a defendant. Headline screamed, "Vengeful sister strikes." But in that moment, her fire in my veins, it felt like communion. Trial dragged into summer. Humidity sticking like guilt. Harlan walked on technicalities, mistrial on the manslaughter, plea on fraud to time served. Justice system for the rich. Jack spat over beers in a dive bar. I nodded. But inside, the plan brewed. Not courtrooms, but the street. My murals multiplied. Harlan's face on bridges. Tagged with soul thief. Crowds gathering. Chants rising. Protests swelled. Apex HQ vandalized. Stock plummeting to pennies. Fall leaves turned. And with them, my resolve hardened. Mom overdosed pills and Pinot. No blaming the girl's curse. I buried her beside Victoria's ashes. Urned side by side in a plot I bought anonymous. Dad showed. Teary. Offering reconciliation. I failed you both. I walked away, controversial. Cold. But chains cut. Winter circled back. Anniversary of that dinner looming. Harlan, untouchable in his tower, hosted a gala, Apex Reborn. Invite slipped to me via anonymous mail, gold embossed. Taunt or trap. I went. In red velvet echoing that night. Hair up like hers. The ballroom glittered. Champagne flutes clinking amid whispers. He found me by the balcony. City lights a ironic halo. Dance, he offered. Hand extended. One twirl. Then I leaned in. The link. It's still active? Isn't it? In you. His waltz faltered. What? I pressed the drive key into his palm. Victoria's. Loaded with the affair proof. Neural schematics. Enough to bankrupt him twice over. Leak it. Or I do. Eyes narrowing. He pocketed it. Blackmail now? You're her after all. Worse, I whispered. Me. He laughed. But cracked, resignation by dawn. Apex dissolved. Assets seized. He vanished to some island. Whispers of suicide or yacht accident. Debatable end. Justice or my doing.
Now. Christmas again.
I host in the brownstone. Small circle, Jacks. A few artists. Toasting ghosts. The tree twinkles, but shadows linger. Happy? In fragments. Tragic? Undeniably. Victoria's laugh echoes in the wind. Sister eternal. The second Christmas without her crept up like a stalker in the snow, blanketing Manhattan in that deceptive hush where the city's pulse slows but never stops. And every string of lights feels like a noose disguised as festivity. I was Elizabeth Hale, 29 going on ancient, curator of my own half-built life in the brownstone that now echoed with emptiness. Its walls papered in my murals, swirling vortices of faces half-melted, identities bleeding into one another. Titles like Stolen Skin, drawing crowds to the gallery downstairs. Success on paper, sold-out shows, TED Talk invites, even a Netflix doc sniffing around the Hale swap saga. But at night, when the radiator clanked like accusatory bones, I'd trace the scar on my palm from that queen's scuffle, wondering if her soul had hitched a ride in me, or if revenge was just a prettier word for haunting. Jax had become my anchor, tattooed ex-spook turned ethical hacker, with a laugh like gravel and eyes that saw through firewalls and bullshit alike. We'd shacked up in the attic studio, his code clutter mingling with my canvases, a chaotic harmony. You're not her, Liz, he'd murmur after nightmares, pulling me close. But was I? The swap's residue lingered, flashes of her boardroom bravado in my negotiations, her flirt in my pillow talk. Controversial intimacy, loving him felt like borrowing her playbook, yet it grounded me, a tether to the real. That December, Harlan's shadow resurfaced, not as man, but myth. Whispers from Jax's dark web dives, he'd washed up in Belize. Plastic surgery fresh. Running a shadow AI outfit peddling the neural tech to cartels and kleptocrats. Slippery fuckers rebuilding. Jax growled over takeout foe. Screens glowing with encrypted chatter. Wants payback. On you. Fear coiled. But so did fire. I'd spent the year weaponizing truth. Book delinked, swapped, a sister's reckoning. Ghost-ridden but raw. Exposing Apex's underbelly without naming names, lawyers' orders. It flew off shelves. Polarized as hell, feminists hailed me as Avenger. Bros called it hysterical chicklit, debatable spotlight, empowering or exploitative. Protests reignited. Soul thief trending. But Harlan's proxies sued for defamation, draining my coffers. Mom's death had unearthed more skeletons, letters in her vanity. Apologies to Victoria for the affair that birthed monsters. Dad? Not bio. But he'd known. Raised us anyway. His neglect a shield against the truth. I'd confronted him in Florida, over watery mimosas at his country club. You let her carry it alone. He teared up. Checkbook out. Fix it, kiddo. I tore it up. Controversial rejection. But blood money sours the soul. Holiday prep was ritual. Tree from a Jersey lot. Ornaments hers, and mine mixed. A silver star we'd fought over as kids. Jack's strung lights, I baked gingerbread. Shapes of handcuffs and champagne flutes. Dark humor frosting the edges. Invites went to the Strays, a queer artist collective from the gallery. My therapist finally sticking. Even an aunt who'd thawed. Small, I told Jax. No drama. Fate laughed. Eve's Eve. A package arrived unmarked. Doorman clueless. Inside, a wristband. Sleek silver. Humming faint. The neural prototype. Harlan's calling card. Note in a script. One twist deserves another. Wear it, or I expose your lies. Attached drive. Faked emails. Me confessing to engineering the swap. Framing him for murder. Deepfake hell. My face. Her voice. Time-stamped pre-shooting. Panic surged. Jax scanned it. Trojaned. Activates the link. Mind control light. We torched it in the sink. Flames licking blue.
But the threat burrowed.
Sleep fled. I paced. Debating, run? Fight? Controversial urge. Wear it. Bait him out. End this, I told Jax. He vetoed. But I said he knew. I was Victoria's echo. Charging into fire. Christmas morning dawned crisp. Family filtering in with forced cheer. Aunt Clara hugged too tight. You look just like her today. Did I? Mirror lied. Showing hollow cheeks. But her poise in my spine. Dinner set. Turkey brining. Pie cooling. Tension simmering like gravy.
Then.
The doorbell. Persistent. Ominous. Harlan stood there. Not the mogul ghost, but a haggard facsimile. Hair dyed bad. Jaw unshaven. Coat threadbare. Invite, he rasped, waving a forged RSVP. Security? Brownstone blind spot. Jax tensed in the kitchen. Hand on a hidden .38 his paranoid perk. Controversial mercy. I let him in. One drink. Then out. Family froze mid-carol. Aunts gasping. Jack shadowing. Harlan sank into Dad's armchair. Eyes roving like a predator scenting weakness. Festive, he sneered, accepting eggnog. Miss the old dinners. Victoria's laugh. Don't, I warned, perching opposite. Jax loomed. Aunties fled to the kitchen. He leaned forward, voice low. The book's a hit. But lies.
Liz.
She didn't save you. She pulled the trigger. Self-defense? Please. I have footage. Bluff or bomb. Heart hammered. Show me. Phone out. Video grainy. The scuffle. Slowed. Her finger on the trigger. Deliberate. Twist inverted. Not hero. Patsy. She'd fired to silence him. Protect her secrets. Me collateral. Or was it deep fake? His grin said checkmate. Chaos brewed. Jack snatched the phone. Family erupted. Call the cops. Harlan bolted. But I pursued into the snow-slick street, yelling, Why now? He spun, breath fogging. Because you won. But winning's lonely. She chose you, always did. The swap? Meant to break her loyalty. Failed. Revelation cracked me. Love. Not hate. His endgame. Twisted affection. Harlan's warped claim on her. You loved her? Owned, he corrected. Then lunged, not attack. Embrace? No, wristband from his pocket. Snapping on my arm. Hum ignited. World tilting. Flash, not swap. Merge. Her memories flooded Yale terror. Harlan's grooming. The frame job to escape him. embezzlement as chains. My rage. Her guilt. Voices overlapped, fight. Forgive.
End.
I wrenched free, band shattering on pavement. Harlan staggered, eyes clearing. His own merge? What have you? Jax's shot cracked. Warning. Grazing his leg. Sirens wailed. He crumpled. Not dying. Just done. Feds swarmed. My anonymous tip.
Prepped.
Interrogation room footage later. He confessed all. Neural horrors included. No trial. Extradition to face international warrants. New Year healed slow. Jax proposed over pierogies. Ring a circuit board banned. Our code.
I said yes.
Controversial hope blooming. Gallery thrived. Book sequel scrapped for memoir truth. Merged, loving the monster within. But on quiet nights. Her whisper, debate me. Happy reunion or tragic fracture? You tell me. Reader. The city's heartbeat syncs with mine. Relentless.
Reborn.
By the third Christmas, the brownstone had morphed from mausoleum to madhouse of creation. Walls vibrating with the hum of welders and the chatter of collaborators. My Hale Sisters atelier spilling from gallery to every creaky floorboard like an organism refusing to die. I was Elizabeth Hale, fiancée now. Jax's ring a constant itch under my paint-smeared sleeves, and the swap scars had scabbed into something like strength, though picking at them still drew blood. Harlan rotted in a Belizean black site, courtesy of Interpol's long arm. His neural empire dismantled in congressional hearings that quoted my book like gospel. Victory lap? More like victory limp. Each step a reminder that revenge doesn't fill the hollows, it just carves them deeper. Jax and I had built a rhythm, mornings coding his security firm, Shadow Guard, irony not lost, afternoons me slashing canvases with accusations in oil. Evenings tangled in sheets that smelled of turpentine and takeout. He grounded my flights of fury, but even he eyed me wary when the anniversaries hit, like I might fractal into her again. You're enough, Liz, he'd say. But doubt lingered, mine. Mostly. The merge that Christmas had fused fragments, her boardroom bite in my critiques. My street grit in her poise. Controversial fusion, am I whole? Or hybrid horror? The book tour had been a gauntlet. Coast to Heartland. Audiences split, activists applauding my takedown of tech patriarchy. Skeptics heckling grief delusion. One Q&A in Chicago. A woman stood. Did she deserve it? The bullet. Debatable dagger. I choked. Deserve? No one does. But choices chain us. Backstage. Jax held me as sobs came. Her voice in my throat. Liar. I chose you. Family remnants trickled. Aunt Clara. Thawed into tentative ally. Baking lopsided pies. Dad. Reformed snowbird. Funding the gallery with guilty millions. Make it right, he'd say. Eyes wet. I did. Scholarships in Victoria's name for framed women. Art grants for the sidelined. But secret surface still. Her journal. Unearthed in the attic. Pages of pleas to Harlan. Let Liz go. And blueprints for the neural undo. Unfinished. She'd planned escape for us both. Holiday buzz built slow. Jax strung LEDs in fractal patterns. Echoing my murals, I curated a pop-up. Echoes of us. Installations of mirrored shards reflecting viewers' faces warped into twins. Opening night. Snow swirled outside. Crowd thick. Critics. Collectors. Creeps. Then, the ghost, a woman in the throng. Blonde bob like hers. Eyes locking mine. Elizabeth? Victoria sent me.
Pulse spiked.
Her name, Elena. Ex-Apex coder. Whistleblower who'd ghosted post-trial. She left this for when you were ready. Flash drive. Innocuous. Back home. Jack's decrypting. Not dirt, but code. The full neural schematic. Annotated in her script. Fix what he broke. 4 sisters. Controversial gift. Resurrect the monster to kill it? We labbed it in the basement. Jax's rig whirring. My hand steady on the keyboard for the first time. Simulate, he cautioned. Virtual me merged again. Her laugh in my lungs. My fear in her steel. Emerged gasping. But clearer, her final secret. The affair wasn't mom's shame. It was love. Dad stepping up for a child, not his. Victoria's shield. She'd forged the waiver to protect our legacy, not steal it. Tears then. Cathartic. She was the strong one. Jax kissed my knuckles. You both were. Christmas Eve dinner. Eclectic crew. Artists debating ethics over goose. Aunt Clara toasting to the Hales. Flawed and fierce. Laughter flowed. Real this time. No undercurrent of knives. But midnight brought the knock, insistent. Shadowed. FBI badge gleamed. Agent Reyes. Sharp-suited Latina, with eyes like lasers. MS.
Hail.
Harlan escaped custody. Belize breach, 2 days ago. My blood iced. Jax's hand tightened, family hushed. Details sparse. Guards bought. Chopper lift. Destination unknown. But his taunt video dropped online. Deep-faked my face. Threatening reunion. Public panic. Hail-haunted trended. Gallery vandalized with swap-back graffiti. Fear fermented into fury. Controversial pact. We hunt. Jax pulled strings, dark web bounties. Ex-NSA pals. I leaked the code to hackers. Free the neural prisoners. Global ripples. Apex survivors coming forward. Class action swelling. Dawn of the day. Reyes returned. Lead on a private jet to Reykjavik, Harlan's bolt hole. Geothermal labs for next-gen links. We go official? She asked.
No, I said.
My mess. Jax and I flew commercial. Iceland's chill mirroring my marrow. Rental jeep to the Black Sand coast. Lab disguised as eco-resort. Storm raged. Auroras mocking with green veils. We breached, Jax's hack-disabling cams, into sterile halls humming with servers. He waited in the core. Gaunt genius reborn. White coat over wetsuit. Console alive with brainwave sims. Lizzie. Punctual. Endgame. I spat. Jax covering with a taser. The code, Victoria's. It's over. He chuckled. Screens flickering merges. Us. Twisted. Over? It's evolution. She saw it, power in the blend. You feel it, don't you? Her and you. Denial cracked. You twisted it. Perfected. He lunged for a switch, mass upload. Neural plague worldwide. Jax fired. Taser hit. But Harlan triggered partial. Flash merge. Global echo. World tilted. Billions glimpse siblings' pains. Lovers' lies. Bosses' chains. Chaos online markets froze. Confessions poured. Harlan slumped. Grinning through spasms.
See?
Unity. Rhea's team stormed, our tip, cuffing him as Auroras danced. Interrogation. Full spill. Tech seized. No escape this time. Back in NYC. Spring verdant. The merge gift unfolded. Empathy wave. Reforms in tech ethics. My gallery a hub for Unity art. Jax and I wed in the brownstone. Vows blending code and color. But her whisper persists. What if we stayed merged? Debatable dawn. Utopia or uniformity? Christmas lights beckon. Eternal debate. The fourth Christmas dawned with a ferocity that felt like fate's final fuck you. The brownstone buried under a freak blizzard that shut down the bridges and turned Manhattan into a snow globe tomb. Trapping me, Elizabeth Hale. What a year now. Mother to a squalling 6-month-old named Vic, short for Victory. Irony's edge. In a cocoon of what-ifs and whiteout. Jax paced the nursery, cooing code lullabies to our daughter. His shadow guard empire booming off the neural reforms we'd sparked. But his eyes held the same haunted glint mine did. Harlan's legacy wasn't dead. Just dormant. A virus in the veins of progress. The merge had changed everything and nothing, billions touched by that Icelandic flash. Confessions cascading like digital dominoes. But power vacuums breed new tyrants. And revenge? It circles back. A boomerang etched with your own face. Vic gurgled in her crib. Tiny fists waving like Victoria's in old photos. And I'd stare. Heart-twisting. Was it her echo? Or just genes mocking me? The gallery downstairs thrummed remotely. Virtual exhibits of merged lives. User-submitted stories of phantom siblings. Ethics panels debating consent in the code. My sequel memoir. Echo chamber. Hit lists. Polarizing as ever. Saviors called us prophets. Cynics trauma tourists. Debatable dividend. Fame funded Vic's trust. But stalkers scaled the walls. Convinced I held this swap key. Jax and I had fought hard for normalcy. Therapy doubles. Date nights at hole-in-the-wall dim sum. But the anniversary always unearthed bones. This year, Aunt Clara's fruitcake arrived with a note. Heard from Dad, cancer. Come see. Florida exile. Karma's slow burn. I booked tickets. Controversial olive branch. Forgive the patriarch. For Vic's sake? Jax nodded. Cycles break with you. But the storm stalled us. Power flickering as wind howled elegies. Nursery cam buzzed. Intruder alert. Jax's rig. Heart slamming. He grabbed the .38. I bundled Vic. Dialing Reyes. Breach. Not Harlan. Impossible. Life sentence in Supermax, but a proxy. Gaunt hacker kid. Harlan's acolyte. The master sends regards. He spat.
Cuffed.
Drive in his pocket. Final twist file.
We cracked it by candlelight.
Vic nursing oblivious. Not blackmail, legacy. Harlan's manifesto. Penned in solitary. The swap wasn't malice alone, but experiment in redemption. Victoria saw the potential, unity beyond betrayal. I broke her to build us. Attached, her unfinished undo code. Evolved, global opt-in network. Voluntary merges for healing divides. Controversial revelation. Villain as visionary? Or delusion's deathbed? Her notes interleaved. Liz. If you read this, choose. Alone. Or together. Dawn broke the whiteout. Flights grounded still. Family Zoom crackled. Dad frail on screen. Proud of you.
Kid.
Fix what I broke. Tears then. Bridges mending pixel by pixel. Afternoon brought Reyes in person. Snow dusted. Kid flipped. Harlan's network. Dozens like him. Seeding links worldwide. Raid planned. But she eyed me. Your call.
Hale.
Shut it down. Or steer it. Debate raged. Jax for demolition. Power corrupts. Always.
Me.
Victoria's ghost urging evolution. Vic cooed. Decision crystallizing. Mother's mercy. We flew South Post storm. Jax.
Me.
Baby in tow. Dad's hospice room smelled of antiseptic and regret. His hand papery in mine. Tell me about her, the real her. I did. The frames, the shields, the bullet's choice. He wept. I knew the affair. Let her carry the weight.
Fool.
Absolution? Partial. Live for her, he whispered. Passing days later. Inheritance, not cash. But truth, letters to mom. Buried loves. Closure's controversial cousin. Peace laced with pain. Back north. Spring's thaw mirrored thaw within. Gallery pivot. Choice chambers. Interactive neural sims. Opt-in merges with stranger stories. Guided therapy. Backlash brewed. Frankenstein ethics. But participants emerged changed. Divides dissolving. Summer solstice. Vic's first steps in the atelier. Toddling toward a mural of us, sisters entwined. Not erased. Jax knelt. Like her mom, fierce. Fall harvested fruits. Harlan died in custody. Heart attack or poison. Whispers debatable. His network crumbled under raids. Code open-sourced. Harnessed for good. My oversight. Fifth Christmas, no. Fourths and bleeding to renewal. Brownstone aglow. Extended kin crammed. Aunt Clara's pies. Jax's hacker pals. Even Reyes with her kid. Tree topped with her star. Ornaments clinking toasts. To choices. Vic clapped. Innocent. As snow fell soft. Happy? In the mess, love. Loss. Legacy woven. Tragic? Echoes warn of overreach. But in the debate, we thrive. Sister's tale. Unfinished. Yours to argue under the lights. The end? Or just the merge?